Hello, 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 and today we've got the Asetek Invictas. Yes, Invicta. Oof, I don't know what that's from, but it sounds good, doesn't it? Invicta. I like it. Now, these year, listen to me. Yeah, these year is probably my second biggest upgrade I've ever done to my rig. And I'm not joking. Besides for when I upgraded to a direct drive, I can definitely tell you this year is my second best purchase I've ever made out of all the sim equipment I've bought to date. This one year. And I've used this extensively for the last year. And this is why I love it. Let's see. So, what are the topics we're going to be discussing today about these Asetek pedals? Okay, the topics are as follow. We're going to have a look at the price, this is a premium set of hydraulic pedals, so sit down. Then, we're going to look at the looksies. How do these pedals look? Do I like the looks of them? Would you like the look of them? Then, we're going to look at build quality. It's very important when you're spending your money on a product that you know the quality is good. After that, we're going to look at adjustabilities. Now, there's a fair amount of adjustability in these pedals. However, it's not for everybody. So I'll be discussing slightly as well who I think these pedals are for. That will be more in my final thoughts section. But before that, we'll also be looking at the software. What can you do in the software with these pedals? Is it useful? Is it not? Okay, and then finally, the final thoughts. What do I think? Is my opinion everything? No, it's not. Listen, these are just my opinions. I did buy these with my own money, and like I said before, I don't regret a single penny I've spent on these. These are my favorites. Let's get into it. Oh, the price. Okay, so Asetek does 3 product lines in their pedals. Oh, most of their things. And they are the La Prima, the Fortes, and the Invictas. Now, I do not know which employee at Asetek came up with these names, but I love it. They need to give this guy an extra 10%. I mean, just listen. La Prima, Forte, Invicta. And I'm telling you what, that is some... Give the guy 10%. He deserves it. Anyway, let's get on to the pricing. All the prices I'm going to give you exclude shipping and taxes, so keep that in mind. And also, I'm giving you the prices directly from Asetek's European shop. It might be cheaper for you to buy at your local sim store, authorized reseller, and you might save yourself a bit on shipping and maybe the price exchange rate or whatever. So have a look around, do your homework. Okay, this pedal set here, I'm going to cheat a little bit and read off my phone because random numbers I'm not as good at remembering. This one you're looking at right over here will cost you 756 euros and 29 cents. Yeah, okay. Now, if you want to add the clutch onto this, and I chose not to, you'll pay an extra 252 euros and 2 cents. Yeah. Now, they do this in a split version, just called the S series, and essentially what that is that your throttle and your brake is split, and you can move them further apart if you so wish. Let's say you want to emulate a go-kart, you want 1 year and your brake and your throttle separated, you can do so with the S series. Also with the S series, you can mount them inverted, which you cannot do with these here. So if those are important to you, you're going to pay an extra 50 euros or something like that. It's 798 euros and 31 cents. Okay, if you are interested in these lovely pair of Invicta shoes from Asetek, they are 84 euros and also excluding taxes and shipping. Let's go have a look, see. Looks, now. Looks are very subjective. What I think looks wow, you might think, doesn't look that good. you know, we all have our opinions. These are just my thoughts on this particular pedal set. Now, I do think these look great. Okay, let's start. Only critique I have is actually these little orange bits. I would have preferred them in red. It would have been nice if they maybe had 1 or 2 different options for you, even though I'm a big Max Verstappen fan. I personally do not like orange on my sim rig as much, and I would have preferred that in a different color. However, these colored bits, these orange bits, have a function. It's not just for looks. These actually show you where you can make adjustments to this pedal set. Now, I'll show you that all later on in the video. Carrying on, we've got this nice light strip here in the front. Now, this light strip here at the moment is purely cosmetic, and in the software, also later on, I'll show you very, very easy how you can change it to any color you like. However, for the price you're paying for these, it would have been very, very nice if you would have been able to make this light bar a function. So, this here is the SubMagic P1000s, and you can see there's a light strip at the top and one at the bottom. Now, if I so choose, I can make them light strips have a function. What function? So, let's say I brake a little bit too hard and I enable my ABS. I've got this set up to flash red. So in my peripheral vision, I know, oh, I'm braking too hard, my ABS has kicked in. And that's the same for traction control, if you want to pick it there. So I'm testing this at the moment. If you do want to see this video in future, come on, give us a subscribe, do the little thing. Anyway, but for now, this light strip on here is purely cosmetic. And it would have been a big selling point for Asetek, I personally think, if they could have incorporated a bit of functionality in this light strip. I know they are talking about incorporating some functionality with the bases and the light strips on them. However, I am not sure. I've never heard anybody talk about any function on the light strip for these Asetek pedals. It would be very, very nice if they could do so. Other than that, what do I think about the looks? Listen, I mean, look at these faceplates. They are, they're stunning. You can grate cheese on them, and I'm not even joking. You can use this as a cheese grater. Look at it. Everything is CNC'd and it is done very, very nice. I love the silver accents here on the sides. Look at this. Look how sturdy this pedals look. I mean, look at that. It's just a good set, a good looking set of pedals, in my opinion. On the back here, you've got the Asetek logo. This is not a sticker. It is painted on. It's that extra effort. You know, everything here looks to me anyway premium and feels premium, you know. And yeah, it's just a very, very good looking set of pedals. In my opinion, I give them an 8 out of 10. I mean, mamma mia, they're looking good. The build quality of these pedals are very, very good. And so it should be, as you know, these are a premium set of pedals and hydraulic pedals. Now, the big, big selling point for these pedals, I have to mention, is that it is hydraulic with the Thorpe brake cylinder system. Now, this thing is 100% carefree. You do not have to do any maintenance like you do on other hydraulic sets of pedals. Now, this is amazing because I myself am forgetful and I don't maintain everything as well as I should. So it is very nice to know that I can just set these and forget about it. I don't need to do any maintenance on them. I can just get in my rig and I can go have some fun. Whether it's 2 or 3 years from now, it doesn't matter. I can just sit down and have a go. And I do really, really like that. This whole system here is it's just a very clever idea. Now, just this here wiggle, 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 wobble, wobble, that is normal. That is how it's supposed to be. Okay, so that is not a build quality concern. However, I would see this wire here. I myself have, when I'm doing adjustments to the back of my rig, have caught my pants or something on this, and once or twice, you know, I've seen on owner groups, at least 4 or 5 people, that this wire just broke off. So it would have been very nice if they just had a solution to this, maybe a cylinder around it or something that, you know, maybe screws in here and just protects it. So I'd point that out. I think that is something that Asetek can make an improvement on. Now, for the rest of this, everything is made out of this lovely aluminium and everything is just sturdy. Make sure, I mean, you can see here, I've got no play. Here's the brake. I've got that little travel there. That's very, very normal. I can probably tighten that up if I want to. And then I've got zero play on my throttle and my preload is set over there. And yeah, I just think everything is nice. Make 100% sure that all your screws are hand tightened, because they can wear out if they're not properly fastened. Yeah, but no, the build quality is exceptional, and so it should be. And I don't think you will have any problems running these pedals for the next 5-6 years. I've been running them flat out for a year and they've never skipped a beat once. Now, one thing I will mention, and this is not really a build quality thing, however, they include a USB-C to USB-C wire, and they also include a USB-C to USB-A wire. When I was initially using the USB-C to USB-C that they supplied me with, the pedals quite often would have, the computer would not recognize them. There would have been connection problems, and on further inspection and reading the leaflets, they say they do recommend you using the wire that has the USB-A at the end of it, so just the normal USB. So yeah, other than that, I've had zero problems with these pedals, and I'm fairly certain I won't be running into any problems anytime soon. Now, as a little bonus, the only thing that I did not like as much as a design is this section over here. So this is where your heel rests. Sometimes my foot gets stuck on the back of this here. Now, that is obviously a silly problem. However, there is a solution. Now, I bought this just from, I think, Etsy or eBay, and that just sits in there. And look at that. That's nice and flat now. My foot doesn't get stuck. If you are a type of racer that likes to have your heel on the heel rest, then I would say that's a nice little feature for you to upgrade to. It makes it, I think, just a bit more comfortable, especially driving these for longer periods, longer stints. But yeah, honestly, they've done a banging job making these pedals, and they're gonna last me for a long, long time to come. Adjustability. Okay, you can adjust these pedals in quite a few ways. Now, I'm not going to drag this section out. I'm just going to show you all the adjustments you can make and try and do it as quick as possible. This particular pedal set I've got here, I cannot move the pedals further away from one another. You would need the S series to do that. However, what I can do is I can take these pedal faces off, and I can move them inwards or outwards, and the movement is about 2 centimeters per pedal. So if I so choose, I can close this gap by about 4 centimeters, 2 this way, 2 this way, or I can widen it. I can go 2 centimeters this way and 2 centimeters this way, and that's the same for up and down as well. However, I actually just like it the way they came out of the box. Staying in the front here, these orange knobs here is to set the pedal angle. Now, for the brake, you've got this little extra step that you have to do. You have to take this pin off, and yeah, it just comes out very easy like that. And then you can make the pedal where you want it, tighten the screw at the front, and Bob's your uncle, you're away and you are racing. And onto the throttle. This orange bit over here is for the preload. So there's 2 screws here, which is very nice. So now you can adjust it. I'm making it a bit heavier for me. Adding preload makes it, there's already a bit of preload, so it would be easier for you to push the pedal. One thing I can say about the throttle, over here I'm testing out the extra stiff throttle spring that is an optional extra from the Asetek store. In my opinion, it's too stiff. I will be taking it out and I'll be replacing it with what I got in the box. You get 2 springs in the box, and this is a soft one. Now, this was too soft for me. However, this was for me the sweet spot. The stiff spring that just came in the box with your pedals, I think, is perfect. adjusting the preload is very easy. It's just the spring over here, and you've got these two screws. So you would first screw this one that's attached to the spring, and now I can see that I'm stiffening the spring. I'm compressing it, so in theory it would be easier for you then to push the throttle. And then this is just an extra screw that you screw tight to keep it in place so that your first screw doesn't move. As simple as can be. For the throttle, you can adjust the amount it travels backwards. If you just want a shorter travel or longer travel, you adjust it with this screw over here. Now you're going to need an Allen key for that, and that is good because you don't want that to get loose or be adjusted while you're in a race. You'll see it's very simple. All it does is it just stops over there. It just stops your throttle at the same place every single time. If you want your travel to be shorter, you would raise that screw higher. If you want your throttle to go down further and you want a longer travel, you would put the screw down. So yeah, in the box you get 3 of these elastomers. You get a black one, which is the softest. You get the white one, which is in the middle, and then you get your green one, which is the hardest. Now you can buy a kit from Asetek. I personally think that is enough. You know what I mean? I think 99% of people will be happy with what is supplied in the box. However, if you're not happy and you want to test out, Asetek does have, I think, a whole set, and you can pick and choose whichever one you want to fit. I prefer the white one, and it's very easy. Now I do want to show you this. If these are mounted in a certain way in your rig, you might need to have to take your pedals off to make this adjustment if there's something like the table here blocking. You can't take these screws off. So for me it's not a problem. I've got mine sitting on the on my aluminium profiles, and I've got access to this, but no problem. How you change is very easy. You put in your elastomer like so, and then you take your this little collar and you fit it, and you just screw it down all the way, like that. And this is just a little safety one again to make sure that this does not move. Now see that bit there, this here, let me show you on this one. This is the long travel kit, by the way, that you buy from Asetek. Now this is the travel that you get in your pedal, the initial travel, just from there to there. So that's how far the pedal, the faceplate would move initially when you are pushing down on the brakes. If you want that a little bit further travel, they do sell this long travel kit. Again, this is something I think they just could have put into the box. You know, it would have been a nice nice for them just to include it in the price. However, yeah, they obviously need to make their money as well, and this will cost you extra. I myself don't use it, but I've gotten used to having these nice stiff pedals, and it's something that I'm now very used to. However, at the start, initially, this would have been transitioning from my old pedals, which were the FANATEC V3s. It would have been very nice to have this in the box, and just slowly getting used to these. Yeah, the travel is very, very little when you push on the brake. It's only that little bit, and that little bit of squish you feel is the elastomer. After that travel is gone, it's rock solid. The pedal does not move any further, and it's just the amount of pressure that you are putting on the brakes that gets picked up. So yeah, those are the adjustments you can make, and if I missed anything, I'm sorry. Hello guys, okay, we are on the software section of our review, and we are nice here in the showroom where you have a digital version of your pedals. So here you can see at the bottom right, I've got my sock peeking in here. Hello, hello, hello. And that is the pedal cam. In the top right corner, this ruggedly handsome face you are seeing here, you know, you have to compliment yourself. No one else will, so I'll do it myself. Anyway, is obviously right, and then the screen I've got on the left over here is what you see, the pedals. Now this is just a showroom. I don't know what the purpose is of this, but anyway, whatever input you make, you can see is mirrored on the screen. There you go, and that is the same for your light. If I were to go to LED and change it to red, Look, in the showroom, it's red as well. Even the brake, you know, it is actually surprisingly accurate and very quick at responding to your inputs. But yeah, you've got a digital version. That's all that is. Calibration. This, I would say, is the most important part that you need to know about the software. Now, a little story time. Well, not story time. Uh, I used to run at, you can see mine's at 30 bars at the minute. I used to run mine at about 45 bars. So I would have had to push approximately another 50% harder than what I'm pushing now to reach, you know, the brake pressure that I want to reach. However, at the start of this year, I hurt my knee. And yeah, it was actually very painful. And I actually came in here and I calibrated my pedals to 20. So if I do that now, let's put calibrate, and I put 20, and I say complete. So now, for me to get to 80, I'm hardly putting any pressure on here or any effort to push this pedal to 80. It's actually very, very easy. I would now just quite easily max this out. However, as soon as my knees started getting better and I had some injections and, you know, the things they do to it, uh, 20 was just not enough. But I find for me, 30 is the perfect sweet spot because I can push quite hard. This is me pushing hard, but I'm not maxing it out to 100. If I want to push it to 100, obviously I do. But naturally, I know that's my, with most cars, about 80%. That's my hard brake, and then I trail brake it off like that. And it's easy to control. I've got here at the bottom, you can see my cursor is showing. I'm on 7% my dead zone here. That is because when I rest my foot, this is me naturally resting my foot on the pedal. Okay, it's sitting at about 5-6%. If I were to have that at 1% or 2% or even 5%, you'll see, you know, that's me resting my foot, and 1%, I'm over. So I'm already breaking 1%. This is just me resting my foot on the pedal. So make sure you don't do that, because then you might be driving, and even though you are driving, you'll be breaking 1 or 2% without you wanting to obviously break 1 or 2%. So put your foot on the brake and feel where, put your, just rest your foot on the brake. See where it takes you. Mine is quite comfy there. I think it have about 5 or 6%. It doesn't go over 7 unless I want it to. So yeah, keep that in mind. You've same at the top if you wanted to limit there. So there you go. You can do so. I just keep that there. On my accelerator, I do have this 5% gap here at the top. That is because I just know whatever sim I'm driving in, when I'm pushing down at my throttle at 100% is definitely at 100%, you know? So really in game, this is at 95%, but in game it'd be 100%, and that last little bit doesn't really do anything, but it just makes sure that I'm definitely at 100% acceleration when my foot is flat like this, and that I'm not at 94 or 93 or whatever there is. I've got just a 1% dead zone here. If you raise this up, obviously it's going to take, like this has 0 response. So if you push this up too much and you got that, you'll never have it at 16. But if you do, look here, I'm moving the pedal, but there is no input. You see the throttle is at 0. So I would have to push quite far for me to get throttle input in the sim. So yeah, don't do that. Keep that at 1%. And it's just more important for you to have your brake wherever. Your foot might be heavier or your foot might be lighter. You might prefer not to rest your heel on here and just, you know, have it there. So then you might need lighter pressure. Play around with it. This is very important. Pedal maps. So this is just, you've seen this. Every company now offers this with their pedals. If, for example, I'm on the brakes and I change the curve like this, and you can see this in the calibration. Look now, for me, this is normally what I would push to get to about 80%. but now it's at 30% instead of 80%. So when I go back to my pedal map and I make it just the normal curve, okay, now 80% or 70, there we go, 80, and let me do that again, same pressure, 80, yeah, it says works out about 50, and that's it, okay. And then this one here obviously is vice versa. You'll be so quick on the brakes, so your brake will be very, very sensitive. So you can see that I'm hardly touching, and I mean, I'm just slightly touching, and I'm at 70%. I can't really imagine a car that you want this type of curve, but if you know, tell me in the comments. The throttle, I would say, might come in handy. I keep these as separate. Let's say you're very heavy-footed, you're too quick to push this this throttle of yours, and there's certain cars that you have to, as you hit the apex and you start to accelerate, you need to do it slowly. So this can help you with that. If you do not have good throttle input, it'll just make, instead of you just going what to full in 1 second, this will take maybe 0.4 or 0.5 seconds longer for you to get to full throttle. Okay, and then on this, obviously you'll be on full throttle even quicker than what you would with this curve over here. Maybe a forgiving car, I don't know, maybe the Mazda or something. I just keep all my curves as they come, like that. This, like you've seen, is just the LED changing colors. I like it on blue, and then this is the brightness. Now again, let me take my feet away. You can see the brightness there is adjusting, but I've got this big light shining down on them. So yeah, the LED is not showing up so nice in the camera. Okay, over here in this little info section, you just got import profile, export profile, and this is where you would come to update it. I doubt you'll be importing or exporting profiles on these settings, but if you do, you do. Okay, guys, and there's an on-off switch as well if you prefer having your LEDs off. Okay, my final thoughts. What do I think about these Asetek Invicta pedals? Listen, I'm dumbfounded, and I really am dumbfounded that this is the first product that Asetek has put on the market, because it is just that good. Normally new companies, and in anything, whether it's a sim market or any other market, if they're normally new to something, it takes them version 2, version 3, and normally at version 4, they've got a good product. However, with Asetek, it's not the case. Literally, this first product they brought out is a banger. It's amazing. Now, is this for everybody? No, it is definitely not. Listen to me.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. All right. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
This brake pedal here is super stiff. Even when you have the long travel kit fitted and you fit the softest elastomers, this is never going to be as soft as other pedals that have a squishiness to them and have a bit more travel. It's just not. That's not the case. And Asetek makes no excuses. They said they made these pedals to replicate a real race car. So if you are driving the majority of the time, you're driving open wheelers, Formula cars, you're driving GT cars, these pedals are for you. If you are mostly focusing on drifting, or you want to replicate the street car, for example, then these might not be for you. So please keep that in mind. Now, I want to tell you something, and listen here, this is quite big, because when I initially bought these pedals, I had a choice between these and the Yusenveld Ultimates. Those were the two choices I wanted. I wanted them or I wanted these, and I opted for the Asetek ones. And the first 2 weeks I had these fitted onto my rig, I was like, what have I done? I hated these pedals, and that is only because I was not used to having such a stiff brake. I was coming from FANATEC's Club Sport V3 pedals. So if you're familiar with those pedals, I came from those pedals to these. And yeah, I just hated these pedals in the first week or two. But boy, when I got used to them, I mean, there's definitely not going back. The stiff brake is the way to go. That is how it is supposed to be. Okay, I'm telling you now that I cannot, that is how the brake pedals should be. The consistency and my gains is just, it elevated my sim racing experience. And I mean, that's what it's about when you're spending this type of money. And the fact that it's a hydraulic system and it's completely maintenance free. You set it, you forget it, and you don't worry about maintaining it is a big thing. Because if you go look at other hydraulic pedals, not just do they cost a lot more in most cases, but there's definitely maintenance involved, whether you need brake fluid or some type of juice to put in there. These you don't. You set them there, you race with them, and they are made to last. I can tell you now, these here I'm going to be using for the next 5 years. But please keep in mind, there is going to be a learning curve when you are buying these pedals and you're not used to this stiff brake. Even when you have the long travel kit fitted and you've got the softest elastomers in there, it's still a very stiff brake pedal. Okay, so there's going to be a learning curve, so I want you to think about that. That brings me on to my next point. I do think Asetek could have chucked in the long travel kit, that little piece of aluminium. They could have added into the box for free. I think in most cases it would have made that transition period from coming to a normal set of pedals to a set of pedals like this a lot easier for most users. And maybe that first week or two that I was banging my head would not have been as tough on me. And then as for these face plates here, a lot of people complain that these are too harsh on their feet, and even with shoes they say, listen, it's taking rubber off our soles, you know. Myself, I'm South African, and most of my childhood and most of my adulthood, I've been wearing no shoes. I'm barefoot now, you know, my feet are kind of leathery, so when I'm running socks, these don't bother me in the slightest. I like them. But if FANATEC, for example, can give you two sets of face plates, you know, they give you the plastic ones and they give you the metal ones in like the Club Sport V3s, and these are like $400, less than half these. I do think at FANATEC, you know, just to make most people happy, and out of a box I would have been happy with that price, to see that they included the two plastic face plates. I mean, how much could them face plates really cost them to produce, you know what I mean? So yeah, there's a few things, you know. Are these pedals perfect? No, you know, but honestly, they are as close as perfect as I want a pedal set. And I definitely, if I, for some reason, by an act of whoever, God, these pedals, and there's a bolt of lightning that comes through here and the cylinder blows up, I know I'll be replacing these the next day. I mean, these are my pedals, and I'm going to be keeping them for quite a while, and it's going to take a lot of beating. Now, Asetek obviously does, you know, they make other product lines as well. They've got the La Prima and they've got the Forte. I know this is a boatload of money. So, and I'm sure they use the same principles and the same, you know, racing enthusiasm when they make those other pedals as well. I've never tried those, so I cannot tell you. However, these here are made perfectly, in my opinion, and it is something that I think when you make the initial investment and you buy these pedals, if you really think about it, if you use these pedals for the next 3 to 5 years, the price you're paying for these are nothing for the enjoyment and the excitement and the entertainment you're going to get out of these. I mean, it is just... Anyway, if you like this video, if you like me, whatever, and we just like product reviews of some racing gear, please drop me a follow, you know, subscribe, and yeah, give this video a like. It really helps a new channel like myself. You know, it motivates me to do more. Anyway, as always, I hope your next race is a winning one. Hallelujah. Hey guy, click on the helmet. Thank you for watching.